Well, good evening. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Man, listen, it's been a week,
It's been a week, but it's Friday.
but it's Friday. Let's get it. It is so Friday. Any big plans for the weekend?
Rest.
Amen.
Amen. Rest.
Amen. I agree with you on that. I think rest is gonna be the thing.
Any big plans for you or no?
Oh God. A conference and then rest.
Ooh, okay. I love it.
Yes, 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 yes. I am very excited about having you back. This is the daughters after the discussion. Um, we are here. Let me see if you guys are on Facebook Live. I'm actually going to tune in myself because I think that it is important for us. I know it's been a while, and our last episode of Daddy Daughter discussion was very interesting. We had oh, I was gonna have some feedback. Okay. We talked about jewelry. We talked about jewelry in the church. We talked about having a semblance of being set apart from the world. We talked about a lot.
Being
And
with your people.
yeah, right, right. Like, and the awesome thing about last conversation, we had two fathers that are very, very grounded in the word, grounded
Mm.
in their biblical education, and they were like, "Hey, listen, this is what we think. This is what we think about this." The way the Bible gives us this information. Yes, my nephew dog wants to be a part of this
Like,
conversation. He does, and uh, so so it's very interesting how they came together and gave us some scriptures, gave us some interpretation.
yeah.
And I was really impressed by that. So I'm going to open up the floor for you because we didn't really get a chance to debrief and really tell our opinion and how we feel, talk about some of the comments that we've got. Girl, I'm just going to let you, where you at? What you feeling?
First and foremost, to our audience, welcome to our afterglow for all my
Daughters
Adventist
after the
University folk.
discussion.
Make sure you get your point tonight. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Right, right,
Um,
right.
no, it was a good time. I thoroughly enjoyed talking to your dad and my dad. Like you said, they did quote scripture. We talked about the fundamental beliefs. We had all that in there. So it was a really good time.
Yeah.
And kind of like I was saying on the other video, I did not know that it was not a part of the 28 fundamental beliefs. And so now that is one of the things that I'll be studying in depth.
Why does that make a difference for you?
I didn't realize that it was opinion based. I actually thought it was Adventist based.
You thought it
But
was you thought it was well because no, it was is it you said okay, wait, hold on, let me back up. Hold on. Because I think you said it was not in the 27 or 28 beliefs.
yeah,
So we found out that
it's not.
it was not.
No.
That's right. It was not. You're
It
absolutely
said
right.
dress modestly, and people
That's
interpret that to say don't wear jewelry.
right. Okay. 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 So yes, because I remember we read the 28 beliefs during that time.
Yeah.
Shout out to one of our wonderful listeners for giving us that information. So yeah, so for you, you didn't find out. You found out that it wasn't in there, so that impacted you because now you're thinking what?
Pretty much people are telling me that I'm doing something wrong, and I'm not. Yeah. Wrong according to who? Personal belief, personal opinion.
So
You gonna have to kick me out, huh?
we love it here on
Here.
discussions, the daughters after discussions. We love it here.
Afterglow.
The afterglow. It's interesting. So the 28 fundamental beliefs are some of the beliefs that the Adventist Church um, builds a lot of practice based off of.
Mm-hmm.
And those fundamental beliefs come from a biblical perspective, a biblical point of view.
That's the beliefs of the Adventist
Yes.
denomination.
Yes. Right. So they build those. They've had that build out based on biblical scripture. It's almost like the argument of who is Ellen G. White and why does she matter? Because Ellen G. White also has her doctrine on jewelry and outward adornment. But the Adventist Church says this is why. It's because of what's in the Bible. This is why we believe these things. It's in the Bible. This is why Ellen G. White is such an amazing person for us. She's not God. We don't worship her, but we follow her because she points out a lot of biblical truths and she expounds upon them for the church, right?
Yeah.
So you have those two things, and it's like, well, like you mentioned, then why would I be told I'm doing something wrong if it's not a part of our beliefs?
Which even having Ellen G. White as on such a pedestal is so contradictory because women pastors is such an issue. So, but that's a whole different topic for something else. I actually don't know what Ellen G. White says about jewelry.
Ellen G. White, she, when I was, and I gotta get my random book that I was reading, but it's one of those Ellen G. White books. You know, I do know that she was talking about, you know, the adornment, right? And modest adornment and understanding what that meant for Christ's people. Actually, I was just reading that last week. And so, you know, she's talking about, all right, well, you have to understand that Christians should abstain from jewelry because we should be doing the whole inner beauty, the whole meek, quiet spirit. And her herself, she advocated for plain dress, right? Yeah. Self-denial. Pretty much understanding that a lot of the adornment comes from a prioritization over beauty. We also saw this week that I'm quite sure you heard about it in Jamaica. They have banned baby edges.
Oh yeah.
Let's see what you think about that. It ties in for sure.
Say it again.
It ties in.
Oh yeah. Police in women's bodies is. Ooh. Oh. Okay. It's a whole thing, especially policing Black women's bodies. We can't just show up in a space as ourselves. Like something always has to change in order for us to fit in. But before that, you were talking about adornment.
Yes.
And I guess my question would be to you as well as the listeners, why does adornment only stop with jewelry? If we're talking about inner beauty, why not talk about everything? Okay, yes, some people say jewelry, some people say makeup, but let's keep going. What about our hair? What about wigs, weaves? What about, because it's inner beauty, right? So it shouldn't matter what's on the outside. What about our clothes? What about our suits and our dresses and our heels and our brooches and our watches? Why is it just, oh, jewelry? Sometimes makeup, but jewelry. And I'm like, there are some church ladies that, they don't think we should be wearing makeup, but they definitely have that foundation on.
Right.
So it's like, why is there always like, oh, a little bit?
Right.
There's always this half truth type thing. But yeah.
And that's interesting. You're mentioning like the whole hair, thing and the clothes and the makeup. I do know that when I look at 3ABN, and when I was looking at 3ABN with my parents one time, and I saw that they're modestly dressed. But for me, it was like, you're modestly dressed, but you still have on makeup though.
That is true. But it's just the powder, it's just the powder.
It's just the powder, right? So what's the difference? And so again, you're right. What is that? Why does it stop at, or what was the question you said? Why does it only like revolve around jewelry when a lot of other things can be adornment?
Yeah.
You got shoes.
Closet full.
And so you got hats a lot. Listen,
hats.
I'm not even talking about the Sunday wearing, foo wear. No, a lot of that is in the Adventist church too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm like, there's women in the hair salon every Friday, ready for Sabbath. There's men getting their haircut every Friday, ready for Sabbath, getting your nails done. Like, you're literally adorning yourself. But because I decide to wear an anklet, I'm the one that is going against Christ and what he said.
What has your experience been with your anklet? Because I remember on our episode, you were talking about some comments that you've gotten, right? And
oh yeah.
I don't know if you've had experience after that episode with that, but yeah, tell me.
Not necessarily directly,
okay.
But yeah, through the grapevine.
Through the grapevine.
Okay. Because I don't know, like, I think I'm approachable. Maybe I'm not, but feel free to have a conversation with me. But yeah.
Yeah. I think that's also interesting because the critique goes beyond jewelry, and then it goes into gossiping, and oh my goodness.
I didn't even think about that. Oh my.
Because when I was younger, and I think this is also a part of our upbringing in the Adventist church, and I'll let you speak to your experience, but when I was younger, it was you had the 10 commandments as what were sins, right? Then you also have these other things that seemed to be sins, and so I always heard about gossiping. My goodness, I was like, oh, like it's a sin to gossip. Like I shouldn't be talking. Granted, I'm a child in school, so I'm going to be gossiping with the cool kids anyway, but whatever. Like, oh, okay. But I always in the back of my head was like, yo, but if I do this too much, it's a sin. And then I'm always also taught that wearing jewelry, it's a sin. I'm also taught that eating certain foods, while not being a sin, it can kind of make you a bad Christian. Drinking alcohol is a
Yeah.
sin.
Yeah.
Smoking is a sin. And so we have all these different things, but then it's so confusing as an Adventist, because it's like, so wait a minute, what's actually a sin and what's not? And why do you get to do that thing, but I don't?
Yeah. No, that's a good point. That's a very good point. I feel like even as Christians, I think it's human nature to get hung up on the visible sins versus the sins that you can't see. But I'm like, it's also not supposed to be our place to judge folks. that's not why we were put here on this earth. So I don't know. I don't think anybody has the place to say what you can or can't do.
Has the place to. You know, one of our episodes we talked about, I'm going to pull up some of the comments that I got, and I want to get your opinion about these. But before I do that, one of the episodes that me and my father talked on, we were talking about judgment, and judgment versus, like, you know, like educating, right? I don't think that we are meant to judge people. No, I really don't. Judgment for me means I am judging you going to heaven or hell. Judgment for me, you know, means that even if somebody curses, like, I'm supposed to, like, oh my gosh, oh my God, you're such a bad person. Like, you're sinning, you're going to hell.
Yeah.
But and I'm glad we're having this conversation, because I want to know from you, like, what do you think about not necessarily judgment, but teaching people what's right and wrong and letting them figure that out?
Most definitely teaching people right and wrong, following the Bible, following the things God tells us to do. But what you were saying about why can you do this thing versus me not being able to do it, I don't think that's right.
Yeah. All right. What have you seen? Like, what's your experience with, you know, what you see and what you don't see, as far as, like, I guess let's call it the hypocrite. Yeah. The hypocritical, like,
hypocrisy.
Yeah.
Call a spade a spade.
Yeah. Okay. We can do that. We get into it. Hey, I don't know how to play spades, but I can call one out, though. I actually am learning. I'm learning.
That's good. I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
Which is it playing cards? Ain't we not supposed to do that?
That's what I heard when I was younger too, you know.
Right?
Can we play Uno still?
But honestly, I think the card playing is tied to gambling.
So why do we need all these rules as an Adventist? Or why do we need all these rules as Christians?
To make sure that we are following the life of Christ.
What does that even mean, bro?
I'm sorry, I should not be laughing. I'm
like,
okay, let's take a practical approach.
Okay.
So, for example, a baby, you tell them don't touch the stove because they're going to get hurt, right? So we have these rules and regulations in place so that we don't get hurt by sin, right?
Okay.
So that's why we have these rules and regulations in place.
Okay.
So I'm like, gambling,
right?
you could lose a lot of money from that, right? To the point where there's folks that lost everything from gambling.
Okay.
So I'm like, does that mean that we could play cards but just don't gamble?
So does that mean that we can drink but just don't overdrink?
That's a great question, actually. You see how it gets so like mucky?
One of the comments that was in the 7-Day Adventist around the world chat, and I appreciate the comments and the things that they were talking about when it comes to the jewelry situation and everything. This is a comment that came from one of our members. It says, temperance is everything. The most important thing to me is about the mind. What are you thinking about while you're wearing whatever it is that you're wearing? He says, please invite the Holy Spirit in your mind and allow him to speak through your ministry. And so he's saying temperance is everything. Well, is temperance everything in everything?
I think so.
Okay.
I do think so.
What about temperance with eating meat? What about temperance with card playing? What about temperance? Matter of fact, let's talk about it, because you shared something that's really cool for me, the gambling piece. I'm quite sure there are people in the church who play the lottery.
Yeah. Would you consider Susu money a type of?
I'm just now figuring out I'm this 10 years old where I realized that Susu was partially gambling.
How did you, or like, what is the gambling portion of it?
It was just betting on, it was this whole thing of like betting on and trusting that there would be more money in the pot, that there would be more money in the pot when it comes back around to you, right? And understanding that, you have, like, that's literally what a lottery is, because everybody around the world or around the nation buys a ticket, puts into this pot. You're winning a lot of people's money. Right. So isn't that what a Susu is? In certain
rules and regulations of it. I think there's different versions of it.
Okay. So again, is that Christian for us to be a part of? What about Halloween? Halloween's coming up, and there's a lot of cute little pumpkins. I just bought my pumpkin for my office. Are like, I know, and please tell me your opinion behind it and your story behind it, but celebrating Halloween was a sin. Not a sin, but it was wrong.
Yeah.
And then we developed a trunk or a treat, or we developed these different like Christian things to represent or distract our children from celebrating Halloween with their friends or Halloween outside.
Yeah.
I mean, even what's your experience with Halloween even growing up?
Definitely didn't. But yeah, in these past like recent 10-15 years, they started doing the whole trunk or treat stuff. So it's still kind of like new, but yeah. I don't know. I did see this IG reel of someone not doing trunk or treat, but they would give out candy.
Okay.
But also give out tracts.
That's what I was doing at home.
Yeah. So I don't know, man.
So again, and all of this goes back to, if we're looking at jewelry and telling our Adventist church that jewelry is wrong, especially in jewelry, more so is a feminine, a womanly thing. You do have men who do, wear some jewelry. They might wear a chain. I've seen a lot of men with pinky rings.
Mhm.
There are some, men who may have piercings, all of that, but um, it is mostly a womanly thing. So if we're talking about jewelry being the thing, now I'm going to ask you about all of these other experiences as to
Yeah.
why jewelry is also wrong.
Hmm. Yeah. It almost feels like a rabbit hole, and just keep finding different things to be like, oh, is this okay? Wait, is this not okay? Is this okay? Is this not okay?
Yeah. Um, what has been I mean, have you had a conviction after our daddy daughter discussion, as to what you think you would want to do
With,
with jewelry?
oh, I, I still have mine. I still have mine on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm I'm good. Because I feel like my opinion didn't really change from before. The only thing that I learned, which I keep harping on because I'm still in shock, that it was not something that is like, oh, it's written here that we should not wear jewelry as Adventists. Like
Mm-hmm.
that is
Yeah.
nowhere to be found.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right. It is definitely interesting that the fundamental beliefs are, um, again, still, even with the Bible, just written in a way where it could be left up to interpretation.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm. I do want to read something for
Mhm.
you. We have another comment. Um, well, obviously, somebody said, "Can anyone give me a text that says it's a sin or you go to heaven or hell if you wear jewelry?" That's exactly why we're here. Somebody else said, "I don't see anywhere in the Bible that God prohibited his people, ancient Israelites, from wearing jewelry and drinking heavy drinks, except
Mhm.
the Day of Atonement. God clearly defined the rituals on the Day of Atonement with strict warnings that his people would be cut off if they didn't observe them and afflict their souls. God repeated this mandate to Moses 5 times to remind them of his severe consequences if his commandments were not followed."
Mhm.
So goes on to say all of the earthly sanctuary services were elaborate, meticulous, and dangerous if not strictly followed. They only served as types, shadows, and illustration of heavenly sanctuary services. As an Adventist, I believe in the priestly ministries of Christ in a heavenly sanctuary, which has been ongoing since his ascension into heaven. Hence, this is the reason for Adventist health messages, including dress code, including abstaining from wearing jewelry, drinking alcohol, and dressing simply. We are living in an anti-typical day of atonement. While Christ, our great high priest, is performing his mediatory work on our behalf, we must engage in his work by humbling ourselves, afflicting our souls, which is dying to ourselves daily, and putting away sin. If sin does not become obnoxious to us, we must be enjoying it.
That's a great line.
Hmm. What stands out to me here is that this is, again, it's this whole thing of dress modestly, um,
Mhm.
modest while Christ is preparing a place for us. Be modest, be mindful, and really, it's kind of annoying in 2025 because
Mhm.
what do you think is modesty?
That's the question that I was gonna say. I was like, what is the definition of being modest though? Because there Okay, let's take what we have on, right? So my up, right? Up to my neck, right? Not to pick on you, but you sleeveless, right? Some people would say that is not being modest.
Well, I was told not to play at the church one time because my shoulders were out.
And then I'm like, I also know there are folks, Adventist folks, that don't believe that women should wear pants. So I'm like, there's so many extremes.
Absolutely.
Of anything that we do or don't do. Yeah.
Modesty. I was told about modesty when I was younger. And, you know, one thing that came to mind when I was younger was, I don't know if you heard this point too, in your churches when you were younger, but I was always told, like, okay, especially like you never give somebody a temptation. Like you never give them like a, you know, because jewelry, they can idolize it. You don't want to tempt other people. Like you don't want to, you know, tempt your brother or sister to fall. You don't want to insult, like, don't want to be a stumbling block. You've been Adventist, you know. Come on, verse.
34 years. Hey.
So, you know, we born and raised in this, okay? This is what we, so even some of the speech, like you don't want your brother or sister to fall, be a stumbling block. You know, what if somebody's out there idolizing jewelry? Matter of fact, I don't know if you recall, about 2 years ago, a pastor was preaching and it was live streamed, and, you know, a couple of masked men entered the church during the service, stole all his jewelry while he was talking, and pew, went out. That was always the thought and the vision in my head when I was younger, when they were like, oh, you don't wear jewelry because people might da-da-da-da. And I'm like, as I'm aging, I'm like, it really wouldn't matter if you wore jewelry or not. If people have their intention, they have their intention. Matter of fact, even in modesty, you could be covered up. I can't control that man's intention. Right. All the way up. We buttoned up.
All the way to the neck.
All the way, honey.
And still imagining creativity.
Honey. Are you really out here saying that if I don't wear jewelry, I'm good? But like now, if my shoulder's out, I'm still bad. I'm still wrong.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to be an Adventist in 2025? You tell me, how am I supposed to be an Adventist in 2020? What is your thought around that question?
That's a good one. How am I supposed to be Adventist in 2025? I can tell you what I was told growing up too. And make sure you wear a slip.
Oh God, the slips, not the slips.
The slip. And then you had different kind of slips because sometimes your skirt had a slit in it. So you had to have the slip with the slit.
And then you have to have the short one for the short dresses.
Exactly. And the long one for the long dress. And then the stockings.
Oh yeah. So you did the stockings. Yeah. You have to get the stocking. Yeah.
That was a time. And I'm pretty sure there might be people now that watch me and are like, she's not dressing right, going up on stage because she don't got stockings on. Even now, like I had foot surgery probably like a year ago, and I haven't really been back in heels. Yeah. I don't really have flats either. A lot of times I wear sneakers now to church.
And why would I be judged?
Because it's not heels.
But even that, aren't heels an unnecessary thing? Because heels are actually adornment. Heels are actually adornment because there's no actual functionality in any situation where we actually need to wear heels.
Oh
It's the same
my.
way with jewelry. There's no actual place where I need to really wear jewelry. And that's another thing for me. You talk about the idolatry of wearing jewelry and oh, it's your God, it's your no, it's not. Today, I don't have jewelry on. I don't have
Mhm.
any jewelry on today. And I
Yeah.
actually didn't it's not a thing where I'm just like, I have to have jewelry, I have to put it on. Like, no, I don't have to. There are days where I do, there are days where I don't until I
Yeah.
get my permanent anklet. So
For some people, like they can't leave the house without wearing it. And then you were saying that there are times when you don't need to wear jewelry. There's watches. That's
there's
considered
watches,
jewelry. And then wedding rings.
there's wedding rings.
Yeah.
Well, what do you feel about wedding rings as an Adventist? I'm getting mine. I'm getting mine. We getting
Let
there.
the world know. Hey, hey, hey.
Yeah, I like that. That thing just was blinging on me just a second. Goodness. Okay.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah, which I'm like, there's been people that have exchanged watches versus rings.
Mhm,
So I'm like,
mhm.
yeah.
Watches versus rings, and there, I think there was a whole uprising, or maybe I shouldn't say uprising, but I was listening to Doug Batchelor. I'm getting used to my pastor names in our church. So I was watching Doug Batchelor, yeah, and he was talking about the Adventist jewelry discussion,
Mm,
and he also brought into the wedding rings. Um, and he was like, to each his own. He was like, I don't wear them. My wife doesn't wear them. I don't feel like I need to as a symbol of our marriage. But,
mm.
he said to each his own. And however you feel led with that. And in my head, I was like, okay, I like that.
Yeah,
But again, isn't that still to each his own with jewelry, period?
that's what it seems like. Yeah.
What about our young people? What do you feel like we should be telling our young people as far as like wearing jewelry, being modest? Because there's a
Mm.
lot of not very modest ways of being and dressing these days.
Yeah, yeah, with or without jewelry.
Wow. Okay, wait, say that again. Jesus. You killing them today. Low key.
Yeah, I said with or without jewelry. There's a
Where's
way
my
to be
shot? Pew,
modest.
pew, 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 pew,
With
pew.
or without jewelry. But yeah, telling our young people not allowing things or not letting things become idols in our lives.
Mm.
Because yes, anything, everything can be an idol. Um, I was having a conversation with a couple people, actually, a couple different people. Our phones, those are idols. Like honestly, like wake up in the morning, first thing you do, pick up the phone. That means that it's going before God. Um, I'm like, I'm talking about myself, like something I need to work on. And I'm like, yeah, different things can become idols if you let them. And I'm like, even just taking out the phone because it could be making sure your nails are done. Oh, my nails chipped. I gotta go get it fixed. Dropping everything to go get your nail fixed.
Mm-hmm.
That could become an idol. Making sure your hair is done.
Yeah.
That could become an idol. So it's like making sure that one, we're in tune with God
Mm.
so that He comes first,
Okay.
and two, not allowing things to become idols and take His place in our lives.
Uh, there's a comment that is in alignment with that I do want to share. Again, thank you for our group, Seventh-day Adventists around the world. Shout out to all the Adventists right now who are preparing for Sabbath.
Yes.
Whole nother topic. But I have a brother who said, "Wear your jewels with pride and decency." I love that. Wear your jewels with pride and decency. Abstaining from wearing jewelry doesn't make you a better Christian. He said, "I'm Adventist too. I guess a radical like me. I'm not really a radical. I don't really think I'm a radical, but whatever. But always question the theories and the theologies. I don't consider myself a radical. I've always been sort of a rebel, but also an Adventist. Like I am a walking Adventist contradiction."
Interesting. Yeah. Does that make you not Adventist?
Some might say.
Mm-hmm.
Some might say. Are you share as much or as little as you want to, but are you Adventist? Like, are you like staunch, I don't do, I haven't done, I won't do?
I think I was at a point.
Okay.
But yeah, a lot of it I think also was fear-based.
Right?
Whole fear-based religion. And it's like, God is not going to love me less because I decide to wear a wedding ring to represent the union between me and my husband, the man that he provided for me. And I'm like, there's a lot of instances in the Bible. For one, the prodigal son, when he came back home, he placed the ring on his finger.
He did.
So, yeah.
He did.
And there's been a lot of Adventist pastors that have said that the story of the prodigal son is a representation of when God comes back for us.
Gives us jewels, gives us a crown of jewels, I really, really know. I hope that everybody knows that when they see me in heaven, my mansion is the purple one, because it's going to be made out of purple jewels. It's going to be outlined.
They're gonna get ours confused.
Yeah, they really are. Oh, you meant her? Well, just fly over to hers.
You want light purple or dark purple? You know, we could distinguish between.
Just fly on over to hers. It's fine. I'll come with you. But you're right. You know, there are a lot of Adventist pastors who have had rings, and again, when we go back to what we were taught, you mentioned just being taught that a lot of things were wrong. And a lot of things were based out of fear. And I think a lot of times the Adventist church, and I'm not here to crap on the Adventist church at all, but I do think a lot of religions have a fear-based mentality and have fear-based theology. We do know that with our Christianity, religion, whatever religion that falls under, but Christianity, we recognize a heaven and hell. We recognize God, the devil. We recognize that, or if you acknowledge that there's a heaven and hell, you start to acknowledge that there is sin. And if you are sinning, then yes, at the day of judgment, you go to one of those places during that time of judgment, when the judgment book is closed. All of the things that we are taught, right? And so that's when you start hearing about these fear-based stories where
Mhm.
Adventists or Christians are like, yeah, I didn't do a lot of things out of fear. I didn't have sex out of fear. I just met with somebody who today was like, I could not have sex out of guilt, like
Mhm.
Christian guilt. I couldn't I couldn't do a lot of things based on Christian guilt.
Yeah.
It-
Yeah, I think we need a lot of like rewording and reframing. Um, because I think we're often taught a lot of don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that.
Mm.
But we're not necessarily taught what to do. So it's kind of just like, I know I'm not supposed to do these things, but what am I supposed to do? What can I do? How can I be an Adventist in 2025? Like, what exactly do I do? But yeah, I think kind of like you were saying, it's fear based because we're constantly told, don't do this because then you're going to go to hell.
Mm.
Yeah.
I hear a lot of the fear-based belief system that again, even going to college and seeing for yourself, seeing the freedom for
Mhm.
yourself, and even outside of college being free, and now that fear has been gone because now you see, oh wait, somebody else, wait a minute, this can't be too wrong if 20 other people are doing it.
Yeah. I
I,
mean, it could still be wrong, but
yeah, right, but that's what you start thinking
yeah,
because
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
because even like me, like I went to college, and again, shout out to Oakwood University. I am coming up on 20 years, girl, next year. I
Ooh.
am going to go buy the biggest, bulkiest jewelry. So I'm just playing. But I'm
Yeah,
gonna
with the
go.
church hat.
Yeah, exactly. A little bit. So, we go to college, we see what our other peers are doing. I saw how even some Adventists from the West Coast
Mm-hmm.
celebrated Sabbath different from me. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. Oh,
We could do that.
we could do, y'all go surfing? Okay. All right. Y'all go to the, okay, all right, cool. And so then you start seeing that there are other Adventists who are just like you, who are questioning, who are thinking differently. And it's like, regardless if it's right or wrong, you start almost swaying towards that. And
Mm.
so for me, I was like, well, cool. I'm gonna wear jewelry. I will do it outside of my parents' home. I won't do it in my parents' home.
Mm.
And then that creates a whole nother separation because
Yeah,
now I
that's
have
a
friends who are
complex.
like, huh?
I was like, that's a complex.
That it because now it's like this personality that's outside the home versus inside.
Yeah, yeah. And that was one of the things, even when I did decide to start wearing jewelry, because I didn't just always wear it. Um, Probably been like maybe 4 years. Um, and I was having a conversation with my husband, and he was like, if you do this, like, are you gonna like not wear it at church and then only wear it like 6 days out of the week?
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, no, if I'm wearing it, like people could see me at church, at the grocery store, at work. Like this is who I am. I'm not hiding it. I'm not hiding it from my parents. I'm not hiding it from my family. I'm not hiding it from my church family. Um, because then it would feel like I'm doing something wrong.
Oh, oh gosh.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Um, and then on top of that too, he was pretty much saying like he doesn't want it to become an idol for me. And I'm like, yeah, which we've talked about it even after I started wearing it. And he's like, yeah, I noticed you don't always like wear it. Like you go out sometimes and you don't even put it on. So it's not something that is just like, oh, I have to wear this to leave the house. It's not that serious.
So were we programmed to think that if we do one thing that it's gonna be like it's gonna go down the rabbit hole for us where it's gonna be an idol, it's gonna be this, it's gonna be a
Mm,
gateway, it's going to be
gateway.
Yeah, right. It's a gateway because now it's gateway to idolatry.
Yeah. I mean, I guess in a sense, for me, it kind of was a gateway, huh? Because I got my bracelet first, and then I got my anklet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
I think I'm stopped there for now.
For now, I'll see you in 3 months with a piercing, a
Oh
dermal.
no, not at all. Not at all. Which even learning from you about the piercing of the skin and tearing, I didn't know that either. So
Mhm.
I'm glad that I learned that that is not something that is biblical to do.
Yeah, I find that interesting. I do want to share that real quick. I do find that interesting that when we look at what the Bible says about jewelry, like it explicitly states like don't cut your skin, don't even make markings of names, even in your
Yeah.
skin. Like it explicitly says that. And it was like, huh, okay, all right, cool, cool. So that I understand. That's why I say like I get that for the most part people would be like, well, how can you do one thing and not do the other thing, or not do one
Mhm.
and do the other thing? I see where it says not to get tattoos. I see where it
Mhm.
says not to pierce. I
Yeah.
do not see where it says to not wear jewelry. And
Yeah.
so me putting a bracelet on and off, right? That's not something that's permanent on my body.
Mhm.
Not what is the word that I'm looking for? It's not like desecrating my body.
Mm. Yeah.
And even when I say that, I feel like I'm being judgmental to people who have tattoos and
Mhm. Mhm.
piercings. If that's what you do you.
Yeah. Which even with that, because I'm like, I love like seeing tattoos. I don't know why,
They're
but
cute.
I just love to see them. I just think they're so cool. Like, oh, it's so artful.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
the other thing about that too is even if they did get the tattoo, did they know that that Bible text existed before or after they did it type thing? So was it I knew and I still did it anyway, or I did it but I didn't know until listening to this Afterglow right now?
Right. It's almost like the woman who may be telling me don't wear jewelry,
Mm.
but you have a 20-year-old that was out of wedlock.
Mm.
You can't see mine, or you can see mine, but what about yours from way back when? So it's like having
Mhm.
a tattoo. It's like after you've already done the thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I can take mine on and off. I want to share this video with a few friends of mine. I want to share this with, the Adventist community, the more Adventist community. I want to share this, and I hope you get to share this with, some of the young people too. I think it starts to facilitate the conversations about the how do we be Adventists in 2025
Yeah.
with with modesty or all these other things. I think you mentioned in our chat one time that what was it? You or your husband was like, I did not think that this was going to be a thing. Like when we get older, I did not think that this was going to be a thing with Adventism when I get
Yeah.
older. Like, yeah, especially in the churches, and how we have been talking a lot about this recently. Um, I think there are more conversations to be had around how we be Adventist nowadays. What is your takeaway from everything?
My takeaway is that I feel like there's a new topic to be discussed. How do we be Adventists in 2025? Like, honestly, like, what do we tell our young people? Because I'm like, it's not the same that it was 5 years ago, much less last year. Like, the world is constantly changing.
Yeah.
How do we be this peculiar people in 2025?
I would like for us to consider what it means to teach,
Mm-hmm.
right? Teach and not judge.
Mm-hmm.
And teach and not comment. And also, I want us to, I really want us to be considerate of. We just saw this week that it's very um, disgusting and disturbing when people have difference of opinions, and that can lead to very dangerous outcomes. And even if not something as lethal as what we saw, but it can lead to especially judgment and teaching from a place of fear-based, or teaching from a place of judgment that can lead people down the rabbit hole of, I don't want to be an Adventist, let alone a Christian. Like, I don't
Yeah,
want to do that.
it could turn a lot of people away. Which at church, probably like 2 weeks ago, there was a lady that said, as Christians,
Mhm.
as disciples
Yeah.
of Christ, we are to catch the fish,
Mhm.
not necessarily clean the fish,
Catch the
right? I was like, go ahead.
yeah.
Catch the fish, not clean the fish. That's
Yeah.
up to God. So let's just go out there and catch these fish.
Catch the fish, not clean the fish. If there's a difference of opinion, and listen, I didn't get to all of the comments, but I think we do need to discuss what it does mean to be a Christian, an Adventist now. But I've just, even putting this topic out there, gotten some very hard opinions. If you don't like it, then get out of the church, right? If you don't
Yeah.
want to be here, then this is not for you. And when we ask questions, or even when our young people ask questions, not shunning them, not turning them away, but providing that safe space for them to understand what it means to live their best life and live it authentically, even if it means, um, letting go of some things and doing different things as a Christian. So I appreciate that. Actually, this conversation made me feel a lot calmer and more validated, and connected, because I know we come from similar backgrounds, but it's very
Mhm.
telling, and it's very helpful for me to hear, even after we did our stream, about what your experience is.
Yeah.
I will strongly condemn anybody who is judging and being judgmental towards people who are making decisions with their own Christian walk.
Mhm.
Um, that's not something that I condone. If you want to, there's a meme that says, if you love me and you feel like I'm doing something bad, teach me.
Mhm.
Right. Um, and that's really the gist of it. So I'm going to go shine my necklaces for the weekend, and but I appreciate you being here for the afterglow. I love that, the afterglow, the daughters after. And so I know for our next time we meet, I know we'll more than likely be talking about, again, women in the church, and what that means, what that looks like, how women do play an important role. I already know that our dad cousins are, they have some very strong opinions.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to have another afterglow. But on behalf of Daddy Daughter Discussion, I do want to appreciate everybody who tuned in tonight. I do want to appreciate everybody who's getting ready for the Sabbath, everybody who is learning about the Sabbath, everybody who is on their own Christian path and understanding what that means for them. Um, Again, serve God out of love, not fear. And you know what? I just want to appreciate you, Dr. Kanazma,
Hey,
to
thank
being
you.
here tonight. Is there any closing thoughts or anything that you want to share?
Love God, love people. And I really appreciate you having me on multiple times on your channel.
Be a staple on here, girl. So anywho, y'all who have watched, share this with your loved ones. Share this with anybody who you think would benefit. If you have any questions or concerns, hey, leave me a post, leave me a comment. Also, you can follow us on YouTube at Daddy Daughter Discussion SDA. And we'll be talking more next time about women in the church. And I will see y'all next time. Have a
Happy
good
Sabbath.
Happy Sabbath. Have a good evening. Bye, girl.
Bye.